What's up guys, Perry from Rockville here, and today I'm going to show you how to set up your Party Spinner LED moving headlight. As you can see, it comes with the light itself, a wireless remote, a power cable, and a mounting bracket with 2 screws. So one of the ways we can have the light set up is by having it sitting on its feet. From there you can place it on surfaces like the floor or even on top of a totem stand. You can even attach the included mounting bracket so you can hang the light onto a truss. So you can take the mounting bracket and line it up to the holes on the bottom of the light, and you can even line the bracket up by using these cutaways here to these screws on the bottom. After that, you can take the included screws and use a 5mm Allen key to attach the bracket onto the light. So now let's go ahead and turn the light on. We have several different mode options we can use with our light, which we can toggle through using the buttons underneath the display. We can cycle through the different modes using the menu button, and while we're in any of the modes we can use the up and down buttons to toggle through different settings, and we can use the enter button to access sub-menus for each mode. First we have the address mode, which allows us to set the DMX address for the light when we're using it with a DMX controller. To change the DMX address, you're going to press enter and use the up and down button to assign the DMX address. Next to that, we have the channel mode, which allows us to set the DMX channel for the light. We can choose between 6 channel and 10 channel, and we'll get to the difference between the two in just a bit. To change the setting, we're going to press enter and use the up or down button to set it to 6 channel or 10 channel mode. Next we have the master slave mode, where we can set the light to either a slave light or a master light. To change the setting, we're going to press enter and use the up and down button to set it to slave 1, slave 2, or master. Next we have the auto mode with 9 different preset sequences to choose from. So we can press enter and use the up and down buttons to select any of the 9 presets. Next we have the sound mode, where the light will react to any sound picked up by the built-in microphone. We have 2 different sound modes to choose from here. So to select one of the 2, we're going to press enter on the sound mode and use the up and down button to select between the 2. So for example, if I start to clap, the light will react to the sound. We even have a sensitivity mode to adjust the sensitivity of the built-in mic, which will determine how the light picks up sound. Next we have the LED mode, where we can select whether we want the LED display on or off. Then we have the display mode, where we can reverse the display. Then we have the VER setting, where we can check the software for the light. And then we have an overall reset mode, where we can reset the light and have it go back to normal. Now we can even set the lights up to a DMX controller, so we have even more control over our lights. So on the light itself, we can select whether we want to have the light set to 6-channel DMX or 10-channel DMX mode, and whether we use one or the other is completely dependent on your needs and how much control you want to have over your lights. You can always go back to the DMX guide to see what fader controls what in each mode, and we also have a color chase table and a color table for you guys to check out. So for this demo today, let's set each light to 10-channel mode. We're also going to set the DMX address for each light to A001. You'll also want to be sure to set your lights to slave mode, because we're going to be mastering them with the DMX controller. So now to connect the DMX controller to our light, we're going to take one DMX cable, plug the male end into the DMX out of your controller, then plug the other end into the DMX in on your first light. So now to connect our first light to the second light, we'll take another DMX cable, plug the male end into the DMX out of our first light, then plug the other end into the DMX in on the next light. You'll want to repeat this process for however many lights you want to have set up. So now I'm going to go ahead and turn on my DMX controller. So now on our DMX controller, we can activate scanner 1. If you have everything set up just like we did, but your lights don't respond at first, you can try going to the reset menu of your lights, and when you press enter, your lights will normalize, and hopefully by then they'll start to react to your controller. So now let's go through each fader and see what they do. Starting with fader 1, this acts as the master dimmer, so for today let's put that all the way up. Next we have fader 2, which acts as the strobe mode, which will only work if we have a color set to it. Next we have fader 3, where we can control the pan of the light anywhere from 0 to 540 degrees. And right next to that we have fader 4, where we can control the speed of the pan. So the higher we raise this, the slower the lights will pan. Next we have fader 5 to control the tilt of the light from 0 to 360 degrees. And next to that we have tilt rotate, which won't do anything from value 0 to 5, but from value 6 to 126 we can adjust the forward movement from fast to slow. Values 127 and 128 stop the tilt. From values 129 and 249, we can adjust the tilt going backwards from fast to slow. You can always tell which value you're on with which fader by looking at the display here on your controller. Now fader 7 will control what color we have the light set to on the left side of the light, while fader 8 allows us to pick a color for the right side. Next to that we have fader 9 where we can control the brightness of the white strip in the middle of the light. And then we have fader 10 where the values from 200 to 209 start the reset for the light. Now in case you didn't want to use a DMX controller to control all of your moving headlights, you could do the same thing using the master slave function. So first you're going to want to find out which light you want to use as your master light. So for today we're going to use this one here. Then we're going to want to go to the master slave mode and set this one as our master light. And then we're going to set the rest of the lights we want to have set up to slave mode. For today we're going to use slave mode 1. So now to connect our master light to our first slave light, we're going to need a DMX cable. We'll take the male end and plug it into the DMX out of our master light. Then we'll take the other end and plug it into the DMX in on our first slave light. You'll want to repeat this process for however many lights you want to have set up in your chain. So now we can go to the master light and set it up to any of the modes while the slave light follows, or we can do the same exact thing with the included remote. So with it I can turn my lights on, select any of the modes between auto, fade, strobe, sound, color, and I can even determine whether I want to have the light in master or slave mode. I can even set the light to any of the preset colors like red, green, blue, white, amber, ultraviolet, as well as orange, cyan, or pink. I can also use the remote to set the DMX address or channel, and I can even use the up and down arrows here to adjust the overall brightness of the lights. And once we're done, we can turn the lights off, and if we want to get them going again, we can use the on button to turn them on. So hopefully this showed you guys how easy it is to set up your Party Spinner LED moving headlights. But of course, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to reach out to our customer support team through phone or email. As always, I'm Perry from Rockville, and we'll see you guys next time.